Hello class. This video goes into the setup for your Colmar Zoo. And right now, if I go to my plan page, you can see I've already set up a bunch of stuff here, but I will go back and I'm just going to use my original, and I've taken some things off of my master page here. So if I right click on this and do page properties, this is what you will see when you go to create your new file. Fixed width. I may want to suggest that you use the default width for Muse, which is 960 pixels. That'll give you room on the outside edges for an outside browser picture to show. You can choose your minimum height. I would choose anywhere from 500 to 800 pixels. You can leave your gutter 20 and decide how many columns you want. Make sure that sticky footer is checked. So if I go into that master, one of the first things that I did was I changed my header value. And I decided, since this one right here is actually my header menu, I'm going to move this up a little higher. This is going to be for some padding. And then this one, I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see about how big I want it. So this is for my header. You'll notice that in the layers panel, I made sure that I created a header layer. You can ignore the North American layer for now. I created a content layer and a footer layer. And on my footer layer down here, let's see. Here we are. I wasn't down far enough. What I did was I left my bottom of the page and the bottom of the browser just at the very far bottom there at my 800. This one I drug up to make my footer. And then what I wanted to do was create a, use the rectangle tool, or I could use a rectangle frame tool. It doesn't matter. I think I used the rectangle tool. And I drew it across here, all the way across. Let me close this for a minute. Make sure you're on footer while you do that. So I drew that across. Then I went to fill, not the drop-down arrow, but the word fill. And at that time, I think I had chosen a color that I put in. Maybe a gradient is what I had used. Okay. And this is not exactly what I had chosen. Let's see if I can click on here, if it will show. There we go. Word fill. Here you go. I put in a gradient. I went from a yellow to an orangey color. I changed my opacities on them. Focal point was about 50%. Direction was horizontal. Okay. Next, you can see, if I go back into my layers, I'm going to go to Window, Reset Panels. There we go, Layers. You can see that I added I used a text box. So I used the text to create my text box, and I drug it across here. Okay. Then I was on my text tool and I was able to go ahead and fill in the text that I wanted. Now, if you're having some trouble finding your text information, simply go to Window, Text. Okay. You can choose texts that you would like. You may have to click in the text box first, and then you can choose your text. It's a good idea to use web-safe fonts. If you do know your Adobe ID, you can add web fonts to this. You don't have to use just what's in here. Again, when I was on the text tool, I chose the color white. This, let's see, is Arial. I centered it. And I pressed enter, so I had 2 lines. Now, for the header itself, I'm going to click out here with the arrow tool out at the side, close this. For the header, what I had to do was go in and get my rectangle frame and trace across. But there's one thing I forgot to do. Let me escape for a minute, go back to my layers. I'll do Control Z to undo that. Go back to my layers and make sure I'm on my header menu. Now you can't see these other things because I've turned them off. So now again, I'll use the frame tool. And looking at this, I think I will pull that up to the top now that I think of it. Okay, so I'm on my header. Click out to the side to deselect everything. I want to use my frame tool, rectangle image frame tool, this one. This is where my header is going to go. All right, now I go to Google, and what I did first was I typed in at the very top, African animal banner. I made sure I went to Tools, after Images, Tools. I think in class I was saying not filtered by license. I should have been doing labeled for reuse. That's what I wanted. And I looked through here and I decided that I would use this image. Now I know it's pretty tall, but I can crop the top part of it off. So I'm going to visit the page, download all sizes, and since my width is 960, I'm going to choose the next size up. 5/12's too small. All right, so now I can right-click on this, save the image, and in my Assets folder that I made, I saved the image within there, and I won't save it again because I already have it saved. All right, I go back to Muse. I can do fill with the word, and I could add the image here, but the problem is I have trouble resizing it. So I think it's better instead, escape, to do File, Place, Open, come over here, paste it, and it's way too big. So I use my crop tool. It gives me this content aware image button. I start pushing this gently up until I get the part of the image that I want within my header area. Now, this would be perfect right here because here's the bottom of it. But the problem is I'd like to leave some room for my menu. So I'm going to move this up just a little higher. I may cut off a little bit of that elephant's head, but that's okay. And I am going to let's see. Sorry about that. What I'm going to do is I've got this image selected. I'm going to press Escape, and that's going to select my image frame. I'm going to come down here to the bottom of the image, way down here. I'm not going to hold anything down, but I'm going to drag it up to the bottom of the header. We have a little bit of extra space over here. Drag that one over also. So again, one more time. If you need to see that again, let me back up. All right. I have my header image. Here's my header line, wherever I want to put it. Let me get rid of this image frame that I just made. Okay, header. I'm going to get my image frame, rectangle frame tool, drag it across. This is where I want it to fit. Let me try that again. Oh, my computer just froze. There we go. My image frame tool, drag it across, file place. Here's my 1024 pixel image. I have a loaded cursor. I'll come to the upper left corner, paste it, but I only see the top half of the picture right now. I use my crop tool. Now I can see that there's more of the image hiding down here when I put my crop hand now on the content aware button. So I'm just going to move it up slightly till I get it where I want it. This time it looks like it may fit in there without me having to move too much else. Let's see. There we go. This time I don't even have to go in, press escape, and then move that bottom up. It actually fit in there that time. And there you see, under the header, there's that rectangle frame tool, and there's the image that's within it. So if I wanted to change the size of the image, I would go here. If I wanted to change the size of the frame, I would go here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you place your header image, banner image, within the header itself.